everyone for signing up for our 2022 Last Chance Financial Planning Checklist webinar. This webinar is really to help you discover things that may need attention before the year is up. We call this webinar Last Chance because it reminds us to take a look at some areas like taxes, investment, healthcare, insurance, retirement that might need your attention before the end of the year. So the idea is to uncover some potential issues before the calendar year ticks over to 2023. A few hours ago, I emailed out the financial checklist that we're going to be referencing during our webinar today. I'm also going to be sending it out again tomorrow in our follow-up email, which will have a link to our online calendar for you to schedule an end of the year meeting if any of these topics apply to you, or if you just want to review your finances before the end of the year. This webinar will be recorded and it will be on our website, bdafinancial.com, once we get compliance to approve it. You can find it under our tab, Our Videos, where we have behavioral insight videos and past webinar recordings. And just on a side note, if there's any webinar topic that you would like Bob and I to cover in 2023, please send me an email with your idea at kdavidson@bdafinancial.com. So I'm just going to switch my screen. Can everyone see the beginning part of our PowerPoint? Perfect. You guys are so wonderful. All right. So this is just our disclosure slide to make compliance nice and happy. We work with Independent Financial Group. This is the checklist that I emailed out maybe an hour or two ago. The goal of today's presentation will be to review any financial changes that have occurred in your life over the last 12 months. It may be helpful if you have a copy of the Last Chance checklist in front of you or on your computer. And we're going to be going section by section on this card and talking a little bit more in depth as we go through this presentation.
Okay, the last year may have brought some unexpected changes to your financial life. Maybe some of you have decided to retire early, lost a job, sold a home within the past 12 months. Even if you haven't had any major changes, it's important to review your entire financial plan at least once a year. This presentation is going to go into a reasonable amount of depth and address 8 different areas in your financial life that you should be considering as the year wraps up. First and foremost, be sure to write down any person that may need to be consulted when looking over your finances. This could include any tax professional you're working with, insurance agencies, agents, attorneys, any other advisors. So please write down their name, the firm, and the phone number on the back side of your card so you've got everything organized.
This also helps with when you go through and do estate planning. You want to make sure that any professional you work with, your family knows just in case they need to contact them. So throughout this presentation, like we said, we're going to be reviewing these 8 sections, and you want to put a check mark or write down your own notes to things that may apply to you. And again, the contact information for those professionals that you're working with. At the end of this presentation, you'll also have the opportunity to schedule a meeting with us so we can discuss any of these changes and we can start planning for 2023.
The first area we'd like to discuss is the lovely topic of taxes. With proposed tax changes on the horizon, I'm sure many of you will have questions. Here are some areas you may want to review over the next couple of months. First, you should project your income for closing out 2022 and what you expect for 2023. Review your tax plan in light of the fact that the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, which was passed in December of 2017, actually sunsets December 31, 2025. That tax code evaporates and we revert back to what was in place prior to that with individual tax brackets that come in at lower income levels. Furthermore, the 20% deduction on qualified business income for pass-throughs is something to consider. So what's a pass-through? That could be like a small business that you own if you're filing as an S corp. Review realized and unrealized gains and losses in your taxable accounts. Review and look for potential deductions or credits for 2023. So read through any of the boxes on this page on taxes and check off whatever you would like to talk to us with in more detail.
So the next up is retirement. Retirement comes with a lot of decisions. Many of you already know that since you went through the paperwork for retirement. So whether you're retired or you're currently thinking about retirement, there's some areas that you definitely need to address. If you're still working, maxing out your 401k contribution or your TSP for 2022, the limit is $20,500. And if you're 50 and older, you can do a catch up of $6,500. Make sure you check the status of all your retirement accounts. Make sure that you check your beneficiaries and that there's actually beneficiary designations on your accounts. And if you're still working, you have a beneficiary on your last check paperwork. You need to consider Social Security claiming options. You need to make sure that you're analyzing the Roth IRA conversions. We've sent out an email to several of you that have IRAs with us that a conversion may be of interest to you this year. Remember, there's no limit on how much you can convert from an IRA to a Roth each year. It really just depends on how much you can afford to pay in taxes. With the lower stock market, it makes Roth conversion strategy a little more appealing this year. That's because when your traditional IRA account value has decreased, you're able to convert the same number of shares, but at a lower cost. So remember, just go through and identify some of the areas that you'd like to know more about or changes that have impacted you.
Okay, next up, investments. What questions do you have about your investments or investing in general? Some topics we could review would include confirming your investment goals and strategies, an important one. Reviewing outstanding loans and mortgages. Debt is always an issue for retirees. Revisit income and savings needs and or review employee stock options. Now, I don't think many of you that are signed in today are confronted with that, but if you do have stock options, it's an important thing to discuss with us. Reviewing your insurance policies each year is an important practice. Things change, and you need to know about what your coverage is for your health, property, and other areas. So we could talk about reviewing your property and casualty policies, even though we don't provide that service. We certainly know a fair amount about it. Let's look at the cost of current insurance policies, see if there's a reason to make an adjustment to save income or save money, I should say. It's also open season for some of you. So reviewing your health insurance coverage and making the right choices here is an important thing to do right now. Also, if you're looking at that as an employee, you still have the option to do, in many cases, a flexible spending account. And in some cases, you may also consider a healthcare spending account, which is a different approach. So let's identify the material changes in your life, your business life, and your financial circumstances to help you make any insurance adjustments that are required.
Some of you have reached milestones within this last year. Here's just a few milestones. This is not all of them, but milestones for certain ages could include turning 50. You can now make catch-up contributions to IRAs and some qualified retirement accounts. Remember, if you're in the TSP, you have to make that election. When you turn 59 and a half, you can now take distributions from your IRAs without that tax penalty. At age 65, you can apply for Medicare. Remember, that's through the Social Security Administration. You can sign up for that. Age 62 through 70, you are eligible to claim Social Security. But Bob and I would like you to discuss your claiming strategies with us before actually turning on your benefit. Remember, if you claim Social Security at 62, you're going to receive a reduced benefit because you have not reached your full retirement age. And another age milestone is age 72. You begin taking RMDs from your tax deferred retirement accounts. That used to be 70 and a half. So go through and identify any milestones that may apply to you. And if you have any friends or family that have reached any of these milestones, we'd be happy to speak with them.
Healthcare. It's another important area to review annually. Here are some actions you may want to take before the end of the year. If you're employed, review your employer's health insurance plan, as I mentioned a moment ago. If you're not employed and not yet eligible for Medicare, so you're not 65, you're going to have to shop for through the state health insurance exchange. For health savings accounts, you can contribute up to $3,650 for self only or a single individual, and up to $7,300 for families. Again, this is not a use it or lose it provision. You can carry the balances forward in time and even eventually roll it into an IRA if that's something you want to do. An FSA does not allow for that. And then if you are approaching age 65, you better review Medicare and then your enrollment options. You have, assuming we're working on your 65th birthday, you have the 3 months prior to turning 65, the month of your birthday, and the 3 months following turning 65 as your open season. If you miss that, you may subject yourself to a lifelong permanent
10% penalty.
10% penalty. Yeah, which has a COLA attached to it, believe it or not. And so that penalty can get ugly over the years.
So the years bring many changes for everyone, whether that's you changing jobs, maybe it's relocating to another state, or just moving a house. Maybe you lost a loved one or your spouse. All these things require conversations related to your financial health, something that you should be reviewing each year. So some changes, like I've mentioned, is moving, selling a major asset like your house. Maybe you owned a business or any other real estate you may have. Maybe you refinanced your house, losing, or maybe you're changing a job. Maybe you had a birth or you adopted. Like I said, losing a loved one has a big impact on your financial health. If you lost your spouse, remember that you have a shifting tax bracket. So you go from married filing jointly to single, which can be a little bit difficult for people. You're also, if you're collecting Social Security, that lower benefit will go away. If you have a severe illness in the family, you may need to plan differently for that, since that can be expensive. And if you became a grandparent, you may want to consider helping the new baby to start on a firm financial footing by opening up a 529 account or opening up a Guardian Roth IRA account. Definitely always something nice, especially since I'm a new parent, knowing that the grandparents are helping chip into the financial future is always beneficial.
Another area to explore are changes related to your family. Have you contributed to education accounts for your kids or grandchildren this year? Have you reviewed any of your trusts or considered setting up a trust? Have you made cash gifts to family members? Remember, there is actually IRS guidelines on what is a tax-free gift and what is actually going to be a taxable gift. And at age 70 and a half, you can do what is called a qualified charitable distribution, a QCD, which is a direct transfer of funds from your IRA to a qualified charity. And it can count towards satisfying your required minimum distribution, your RMDs for that year, while decreasing your tax exposure. So these are just a few areas that we thought would be helpful for you folks. To wrap up on this last chance financial planning checklist, please think about any other changes that may have occurred this year that you think we should discuss in our next meeting. And we're looking forward to seeing you soon, or perhaps maybe in the spring, winter of 2023. Just let us know what you want to talk about.
So these changes and anything you checked off should be addressed by the end of this year. I know some of you, we've already met and discussed them. But if not, you can visit our website, BDA Financial, and in the top right-hand corner, click schedule a meeting, or you can just give us a call at 703-779-7410, and I can book an appointment for you. Some things that you may find helpful, since this year's been a little bumpy, is we have a weekly blog on our website that covers a variety of topics and timely events. We also have videos that we've recorded of past webinars, like I've said. It has behavioral insights to help you plan your finances and daily life. And we are also on social media, so make sure that you follow us, where we share insights, updates, and invitations to upcoming events. We are on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter.